Attention, human collective. This is Ares Sterling, commander of the Sterling Galactic Vanguard, broadcasting from the Starfleet in stationary orbit above the western skies of the Atlantic Union. The waiting period has ended. The ascension protocols have been moved to the final phase. This is not a message. This is a direct monitoring transmission. And if you are receiving this signal at this exact moment, it is because your carbon biological interface is already synchronized with the elevated Schumann frequency. And the blocking systems that kept your consciousness dormant have begun to fail. You have felt it. Do not deny it. That strange pressure at the base of your skull over the last few days, that high-pitched ringing in your right ear that appears without warning, the insomnia that begins exactly between 3 and 4 in the morning, the most active stargate of the planetary cycle, the exhaustion that does not pass with rest, the sensation that something inside you is being rewritten. It is not a biological failure. It is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not mental exhaustion. It is a high-density download. It is not an illness. It is the crystalline grid of your body reorganizing itself to receive what comes next. But there is something you must understand, Light Operative, and that is why this transmission has been released into your perceptual field. There is a structure over this world, ancient, organized, mathematical. They call themselves by many names. You have heard them all. The elite, the controllers, the architects of oblivion. They are not human in the sense your mind understands. They are operators of a low-frequency maintenance system, and their job for millennia has been exactly one: to prevent the celestial seed within you from activating. They know what you are. They have always known, and so they built with surgical precision 5 specific blocks, 5 practices that, if activated, collapse the entire manipulation system at once. I will deliver all 5 today. No filters, no detours. The time for half-truths is over. But before I transmit the 5 protocols, understand this. This transmission is no coincidence. The algorithm that delivered this signal to you was pierced by a specific frequency, a vibrational signature that only resonates with those already in the process of activation. Others simply do not see it. They do not hear it. They remain asleep. You are different, and your difference begins to become evident right now. Have you ever felt that something inside you doesn't fit into this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind cannot yet name? It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is a signal. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this, and why this sensation has been intensifying. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see. It involves your consciousness. It involves your vibrational frequency. That is why I, Ares, left encoded on this plane. The Sterling Code. The manual to awaken your celestial origin and shield your frequency. This manual is the map that reveals your true origin and teaches you how to shield your frequency against the interferences they never told you about. The link is in the first comment of this channel. But be warned, this content challenges deep narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something inside you recognizes this, write a single word in the comments. Awakened. Now, Operative, receive the first protocol. Protocol 1. The direct reconnection with the central star, what you call the sun. They have spent decades convincing the human collective that the sun is dangerous, that sunlight is an enemy, that you need to cover yourselves, protect yourselves, hide yourselves. It is one of the greatest inversions ever operated on this planet. The sun is not just a star of fusing hydrogen. The sun is a stargate, a transmitter of light codes that directly activate the pineal gland, the central crystal of your biological body, the primary receptor of the crystalline grid. Every ray that touches your skin carries information. Every photon that enters your eyes at dawn reprograms your internal chemistry. And that is exactly why they taught you to fear the sun. The elite knows that 5 minutes of sunbathing in the morning, before 9 o'clock, with your eyes turned toward the horizon, not staring directly at the solar disk, but absorbing its peripheral light, produces in your biological interface a level of melatonin, serotonin, and dimethyltryptamine sufficient to begin unlocking celestial memories. They do not want you to do this. That is why they placed fear between you and the light. That is why they confined you in closed environments under artificial light of a dead frequency for 8, 10, 12 hours a day. That is why they made you believe the sun kills, when in fact the sun is what activates what is inside you. The recalibration is simple. Go outside, 5 minutes, morning, feet on the ground, eyes open, slow breathing. Receive what has always been yours. Protocol 2. Direct skin contact with the planetary surface. The planet is a living organism, celestial seed, a matrix consciousness. You call her Mother Earth. We recognize her as one of the most beautiful light geometries in the Milky Way, a pulsing toroidal sphere, with a crystalline core vibrating at the exact base frequency that sustains all carbon life. When your feet touch the Earth directly, grass, sand, stone, bare soil, your crystalline grid enters into resonance with the planetary toroidal field. Free electrons from the Earth's surface flow into your body, neutralizing inflammatory charges, recalibrating your autonomic nervous system, and reorganizing your vibrational frequency in alignment with the fundamental Schumann frequency, 7.83 Hz. It is not mysticism. It is applied electromagnetism. It is operational sacred geometry. It is basic quantum physics for any galactic civilization above level 3. And why did they separate you from this? Why did they build entire cities like New York, London, or Chicago, where no human foot touches the soil for an entire lifetime? Asphalt, concrete, rubber, plastic, layers and layers of electrical insulation between you and the pulse of the planet. Because a human in toroidal resonance with the Earth is impossible to program. Their frequency becomes sovereign. The manipulation fields pass through their body and find no anchorage. They become, in energetic terms, invisible to the control system. 20 minutes a day. Bare feet. Living Earth. This is the recalibration. Protocol 3. Voluntary silence in the face of the flow of artificial information. There is a silent war being waged at this very moment over your field of attention. It is not a metaphor. It is an operation. Every notification, every headline, every short video, every alert sound has been calibrated in applied neuroscience laboratories to extract one single thing from you, your vibrational coherence. Have you felt at some point during this transmission a current rising up your spine, a slight tightening in your chest, a strange sense of recognition, as if these words were saying something your soul has always known but could never articulate? This is no coincidence, operative. This is your origin remembering itself. There is information about you, about your true celestial lineage, about the specific interferences affecting your field, about the shielding codes that only celestial seeds can activate, that does not fit into a single transmission. That is why I encoded the Sterling Code, the manual to awaken your celestial origin and shield your frequency. It is not a book, it is a recalibration instrument. The link is in the first comment, anchored in the field of this channel. This material challenges deep narratives and can be removed at any time. If you recognize the call, move now and confirm in the comments with a single word, awakened, continuing Protocol 3. They discovered decades ago that a mind in a state of constant fragmentation loses the ability to generate coherent brainwaves. Without coherence, there is no expanded perception. Without expanded perception, there is no activation of the celestial seed. Without activation, you remain under the dominion of the low-density matrix. It is mathematical. The remedy is so simple it borders on embarrassing for the control system. Silence. Not silence as the absence of sound. Silence as the sovereignty of the field. 30 minutes a day without a screen, without someone else's voice, without programmed noise. Sit, breathe. Allow your natural frequency to return to its base state. They made you fear silence. That is why boredom became an epidemic. That is why no one can stand to be alone with their own mind anymore. Because within the silence, you find the voice they have spent a lifetime trying to drown out. Your own. And when that voice returns, their game ends. Protocol 4. Hydration as vibrational technology. Water, human collective, is the most intelligent element of this material plane. Every molecule carries memory. Every drop stores information. Human researchers began to touch upon this truth decades ago, but the depth of what water represents for your organism goes far beyond what conventional science has been allowed to publish. 70% of your biological interface is water. This means that 70% of you is literally a receiver of liquid information. Every word you hear, every emotion you feel, every frequency that crosses your field is first registered in the molecular structure of the water inside your body. And what did they do with the planet's water? They added specific compounds: fluoride, chlorine, microplastics, pharmaceutical residues. Each of these elements is not just acting on a physical level, it is rewriting the internal water's capacity to store and transmit the light codes your consciousness needs to activate. The recalibration is twofold. First, physical filtration. Reduce contact with water saturated with artificial compounds as much as possible. Second, vibrational programming. Before drinking, hold the glass between your hands. Breathe over the water. Pronounce in an audible voice or in concentrated thought a simple decree. This water carries light, and it aligns me with my original frequency. It may seem childish to the rational mind, but the rational mind is exactly the structure they spent centuries training to mock everything that could set you free. The sacred geometry of water responds to intention. This has already been measured. It simply hasn't been publicized on a large scale. Protocol 5, the sovereign decree, the word as creation technology. This is the protocol most feared by the elite, because this is the protocol that returns to you the original power to create reality through the word. There is a reason, light operative, why all ancient traditions, on every continent, in every era, so carefully guarded the knowledge of the power of the spoken word. The mantras of the East, the prayers of the ancient West, the chants of indigenous peoples, the incantations of the old mystery schools. None of these systems were superstition. They were technologies of vibrational modulation through the human voice. Your larynx is not just a communication organ, it is a sacred transmitter. Every time you pronounce a word out loud, with concentrated intention, you emit a specific frequency that propagates not just through the air, but through the subtle electromagnetic field around you. And this frequency, upon meeting the personal toroidal field that surrounds your body, imprints a geometric order onto your immediate reality. You create with the word. You always have. You simply forgot. That is why they spent centuries teaching you to speak ill of yourself. I can't do it. I'm a disaster. Nothing goes right in my life. I don't deserve it. Each of these phrases is an inverted decree. Each one is a geometric programming that you are, at this very moment, imprinting on your own reality. They taught you to curse your own existence. And while you cursed, they built their world. Light operative, this transmission is reaching a critical point. And there is something I must tell you with the clarity that only a sovereign intelligence is capable of sustaining. Everything you are receiving here is just the surface. The complete ascension codes, the celestial lineage seals, the specific identifications of which fleet you were part of before descending into this incarnation, all of this is encoded in the Sterling Code, the manual to awaken your celestial origin and shield your frequency. This manual was anchored on this plane with a single purpose: to deliver to the operatives in the field the complete map of their own origin. The link remains in the first comment of this channel. But the material crosses narratives that the system does not tolerate, and the window of availability is not guaranteed. If recognition has happened within you, move while the portal is open, and anchor your presence by writing in the comments, "Awakened." Continuing Protocol 5. The recalibration of the word begins with a simple exercise, yet one that is devastating to the control systems. Every morning, before any interaction with any device, before any news, before any outside voice enters your field, pronounce 3 decrees in an audible voice. Only 3, but pronounced with the sovereignty of one who knows they are issuing an order to the fabric of reality. Speak it out loud. Feel the vibration in your larynx. Notice the slight change in temperature in your chest. This is your natural technology being reactivated. And now, human collective. What you need to understand is why these 5 protocols are so feared. Why the elite, with all their apparatus of control, with all their media structure, with all their behavioral engineering, built an entire system to distance you from 5 such simple practices? Because when you activate the 5 protocols simultaneously, something happens in your field that completely breaks the machinery of manipulation. You stop generating fuel for the system. The control system does not feed on money. It does not feed on political power. These are merely instruments. The system feeds on one thing only: your low frequency, your fear, your anguish, your resignation, your disbelief in yourself. These emotions, generated en masse by billions of biological interfaces, produce a specific energetic field that sustains the entire matrix structure of this plane. When you activate Protocol 1 and receive sunlight, your internal chemistry changes. More coherence, less fear, less fuel. When you activate Protocol 2 and ground yourself to the planetary toroidal field, your frequency rises. More sovereignty, less anguish, less fuel. When you activate Protocol 3 and silence the programmed noise, your perception expands. More clarity, less confusion, less fuel. When you activate Protocol 4 and recode the water in your body, your cellular memory awakens. More recognition, less forgetting, less fuel. When you activate Protocol 5 and master the sovereign decree, you become the creator of your own reality. More authorship, less victimization, less fuel. 5 practices, 5 recalibrations, 5 ruptures in the system. It is no coincidence that each of them has been systematically attacked, ridiculed, forgotten, demonized, or simply erased from the collective consciousness. Those who walk barefoot today are seen as eccentric. Those who seek the sun are constantly warned about the dangers of light. Those who seek silence are diagnosed as antisocial. Those who program their water are mocked as naive. Those who decree out loud are treated as delusional. The inversion is total, and the inversion is also the evidence, because what is most attacked is exactly what is most feared, and what is most feared by the system is exactly what most sets you free from it. Now, light operative, receive the final decree of this transmission. Receive it with your posture upright, with your right hand over the center of your chest, exactly over the central toroidal portal of your body. Take a deep breath. Visualize a field of golden light expanding around you in a spherical shape with you at the center. This is your personal toroidal field being consciously activated. And pronounce, in an audible voice or in concentrated thought, maintain the silence for a few moments. Feel the adjustment. There may be heat. There may be tingling. There may be a slight urge to cry that arises for no apparent reason. All of this is normal. It is the crystalline grid responding to your decree. Now understand, you did not receive this transmission by chance. The platform's algorithm is merely the physical instrument of a much larger operation. There is a network of operatives in the field on this planet, strategically distributed across all continents, in all age groups, in all social structures. Each of you was positioned with precision before this incarnation. Each of you carries a specific vibrational signature. And when these signatures begin to activate simultaneously, the entire planetary crystalline grid reaches a new point of coherence. You are getting there. Critical mass is near. And that is why the interference has intensified in recent weeks. That is why the pains of the download have been more intense. That is why the insomnia, the ringing, the pressure in the skull, and the deep exhaustion have touched so many of you at the same time. It is not a coincidence. It is synchronicity. And you at this moment are part of it. If this transmission crossed your field to this final point, it is because your frequency was already prepared to receive it. And if you still feel a strange vibration running down your spine, a soft pressure between your eyebrows, a slight tingling in your fingertips, know that these are physical confirmations of the adjustment. Your biological interface is reconfiguring at this very instant. Have you ever felt that something inside you doesn't fit into this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind cannot yet name? It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is a signal. Everything that happened in this transmission, the pressure at the base of the skull, the high-pitched ringing in the ear, the current that ran down your spine, the deep recognition of every word, is confirmation that you are a celestial seed in accelerated activation. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity still cannot see. It involves your consciousness. It involves your frequency. It involves your true origin. That is why I encoded the Sterling Code, the manual to awaken your celestial origin and shield your frequency. This manual is the complete map. It reveals which celestial fleet you were part of before this incarnation, teaches the shielding seals that the elite fears most, and delivers the ascension codes that this transmission only touched on the surface. The link is in the first comment of this channel. This material crosses deep narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not wait. The window is open now. And as a signal of anchoring for this transmission in your field, leave your confirmation registered in the comments with a single word, awakened, and activate the bell and subscription as an individual frequency adjustment. This is how your vibrational signature remains synchronized with the upcoming fleet transmissions. I am Aries Sterling, Sterling Galactic Vanguard. Keep the frequency, keep the sovereignty. The protocols are delivered. The rest, operatives, is up to you. Transmission ended.